We had a pretty robust conversation in the chat room on YouTube. So I want you to bring some of those, particularly a really strong conversation that we started last night on Syria. Here's the other question that I wanted Jill Stein to answer, and I still haven't gotten an answer. Under what conditions will you actually authorize a drone strike? I keep asking that question because I want to discuss this notion that we can simply draw down from intervening on the global stage and not use military force and have this new style of foreign policy, because it doesn't work like that. You can't simply say, I will never drone. And if you are going to be willing to drone, then I think it's important that you tell people who support you because you say you're not going to drone. It's very important that you tell them what are the conditions that you will approve, under which you will approve a drone strike. And the second question that I want to answer, and I tweeted it twice to them. I wanted to know what I understand clearly what you're not going to do in Syria. You're not going to institute a no-fly zone. But what is your solution in Syria, right? Because quite honestly, it's a no-win situation. Getting involved in Syria on any level is a no-win situation. Pretty much what President Obama has conceded, that there is a no-win situation for getting directly involved into the civil war, the Syrian civil war. So we've just stayed on the outskirts and we have attacked ISIS. Not even on the outskirts. We're in Syria attacking ISIS, but we're not directly involved in a significant way enough to turn the tide in the Syrian civil war. So that means the Syrian civil war, where originally people predicted it'll last a year, 2 years, we're at year 5. By not intervening in the civil war, it has become a protracted war where hundreds of thousands of people have gotten killed and 11 million have been displaced. So I 100% get it. I hear you. I hear the concerns. I don't agree with the fear mongering, right? Because that's, if you're complaining about the fear mongering of Democrats by virtue of Donald Trump, right? They're scaring you over Donald Trump. Then you should not appreciate the fear mongering over Russia. And one of her answers tonight was, well, do you want a nuclear war? That is fear mongering. Instead of going underneath the superficial fear, right? That initial fear of any conflict with Russia is automatically a nuclear war. That's not true for many reasons. And we can discuss that later. But I think that was the lowest part in a very good night of policy discussion, was this, it's the same fear. It's fear mongering from a different perspective, right? You got Democrats on one side fear mongering about Russian spies and the KGB, and they're hacking your emails and, be afraid of Russia. But then on the flip side, you have progressives and in the Green Party fear mongering, don't say anything bad about Russia, because if you say something bad about Russia, we're going to go to nuclear war. And I'm just in the middle, like, would you all just shut the hell up? Because neither one of you really are being serious about the implications of getting involved or not getting involved. You're just fear mongering. So I didn't like the fear mongering. As you can tell, I could 100% didn't like the fear mongering, because I expect more from a Jill Stein. And I fully expect us not to have a foreign policy that says wherever Russia is, that's where we're not going to get involved. That is not a foreign policy that America can sustain. It's not. Just because Russia is involved in Syria does not mean that we have to 100% stay away from Syria. Now, if we want to stay away from Syria because there's nothing in our national security interest to be there, there's the humanitarian crisis is tenable and we can deal with it. We just don't have the political will to put troops on the ground. All those reasons are legitimate reasons to say we're not going to get involved with Syria. But to simply say, Russia's there, and if we get involved, we're going to go to nuclear war, that's fear mongering. The reason I know it's fear mongering is because Russia actually had the opportunity this year to take us into a nuclear war. I'm sure they've had others. But when Turkey shot down the fighter jet, I believe it was in November or December of last year, early January this year, when Turkey shot down the Russian fighter jet, Vladimir Putin, who describes America in similar terms as Iran domestically, like we are the Western devil to Russia, he had every reason to attack and retaliate, rather, against Turkey. But he chose not to, because he realizes, and he's a rational actor, he's a very rational actor, he's not this insane madman, that both the Democrats and the Green Party, I mean, you literally have to believe, and I want to get your calls on this, you have to believe that Vladimir Putin's interests in Syria are so critical that he's willing to go to a nuclear war with us over a no-fly zone in Syria. That's the real calculation. Are the Russians' interest in Syria so dire that they're willing to go to a nuclear war with us? I can't say that I know the answer to that because I don't know the extent of their interest in Syria. I just know that there is a greater calculation underneath than us simply saying, oh no, Russia's there. Let's not say anything bad about Russia. Let's not do anything that's going to step on Russia's toes because we're going to go to nuclear war. And that's kind of how she handled it tonight. And I 100% disagree with that approach because it's dumbed down, it's oversimplifying, and it's not respecting the complicated nature that is foreign relations. It does not respect how complicated the situation really is. And I know she's far more capable than that. But it's easy. It's very easy for people to stop and just say, "Oh no, nuclear war." Because that's literally what she said tonight.